So, welcome everybody to today's MindManager public webinar using links and attachments in MindManager. So I'm quite happy again to have Nick Duffill on board who will deliver the presentation today. Nick is a highly esteemed technology partner and consulting partner from us for over 20 years now, and actually also Nick has developed around 50 extensions for MindManager, both as products and custom projects, and he also contributed 2 features to MindManager, the Marker Index and also Gantt Pro, which is available in the Enterprise Edition since MindManager 2017. Hi Nick, nice to have you here
Stephen.
again.
Hello Stephen, glad to be here again. Well, thank you for that introduction, Stephen, and welcome everybody this afternoon or evening or even early morning if you're joining us from the States. What we're going to talk about in the next about 40-45 minutes maximum is using links and attachments in MindManager. And as Stephen said, that's MindManager 18 for Windows that we're looking at here. And really, this is about connecting MindManager to everything else, so that you can easily find stuff when you need it and find it in the context that you need it. We assume some knowledge of using MindManager, but probably you don't have to be an expert to use links by any means. You might wonder if how anybody could make the subject of links and attachments last an hour, and I kind of hope I'm not going to make it last a whole hour. But like everything in MindManager, there are so many options and features, so many different ways to do things, and so many choices that you have. You can't remember them all. You just have to learn the ones that work best for you and most efficient, but it helps to have some kind of oversight of what it's capable of and what choices are helpful to make when using links and attachments. I won't be demonstrating any Mindjet files features, so if you're using Mindjet files, then we could take some questions afterwards, but I haven't got that as part of the demonstration this afternoon. I'm really just focusing on other places to link to. Let's start with an overview picture, and I drew this picture a few times, trying to show really the connections between information between maps and what's outside of your maps, and how MindManager implements that. In this diagram here, we've got a cream-colored box which represents your local files and folders, and the folders that you have your maps in. These might be shared drives, there might be even be drives in the cloud, or there might be drives on your local machine. And in there you have a MindManager map, and within the map you can create different types of links, and you can store information in the map. So you can have links or attachments embedded in the map. If we look at the links first, the first type is a link that jumps from one topic to another in the same map, and we'll see how that works and when and how you'd use that. For links, you can have either relative links or absolute links, and the difference isn't really important unless you want to move your maps or unless you want to send them to somebody else. If you're thinking about sharing maps with other people and linking to information, linking to files, then you really have to look at how you deal with links, whether you use relative ones or absolute links, and how that works for them, because something that works perfectly on your system might behave differently when you copy it to somewhere else. Relative links are links from the map to a folder or a file on your system, and MindManager only needs to know how to get from where the map is to the folder, to where the folder or the file is, without knowing exactly where you are in the big picture. Absolute links, by comparison, they don't need to understand the relative part. MindManager has the whole address to a folder or a file, so it can go right back to your C drive or whatever map drive you're using, and follow a link from there. Similarly, absolute links also include web pages and email addresses. So there's 2 different types of links, relative and absolute, and we'll look at those as we go through. Now, to the last thing that you can have in maps is attachments, which we're talking about this afternoon. That's a document that's embedded inside the map itself, so it goes wherever the map is. It's not an external link. The data is actually stored inside that. If you've ever used embedded documents in Microsoft Office products, like a Word document where you've embedded a spreadsheet inside that, it's exactly the same principle. You can store a document within a map. Now, all of these links and attachments can either be opened with MindManager's built-in browser with the blue dotted lines there. So if you click on something to open it, it can give you a preview in the built-in browser, or you can go straight to the default application in your system, like a browser for Windows like Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer or Edge. Or you can preview things in the built-in browser and then jump to the default application. So you've got lots of different choices about how to preview and view things. So let's dig in now and see how to use links, why you'd use them. I'll zoom in a little bit on the map so it's a bit easier to read. You use links to build knowledge sharing dashboards and ways to gather information, connect to stuff without replicating it. So this is probably not new to you at all, but the idea of having links to things that where the information might change at the end of the link, but the link stays the same. It is a very helpful way. You don't have to replicate things in your maps. You can simply link to something that might be up to date, so like a web page or a file that's being edited independently. You can also use links to launch software directly from MindManager. You can link to a program just as easily as you can link to a file that it edits. So you can create a dashboard that has got all the tools that you need to do a particular job from within one map. Creating documentation and guides and information to publishers, gathering research, collecting websites, all these things are great applications of MindManager. And what you can do, should we go back a little bit to the design of MindManager and mapping, is you can start to collect things and you can then annotate them and restructure them to make sense out of them in the context that you're working in. So the internet is not structured in a particularly helpful way. You might find a lot of things by searching, you might find things by accident, you might find things by following other links, but you want to create a picture of how that relates to what it is that you need to do from a particular point of view. And just having a long list of shortcuts or favorites in a browser is fine up to about 10 or 15, but after that you really can't see what the structure of that is, whereas drawing it in a map and having those shortcuts or links embedded in a map let you navigate through that, let you organize things in the way that makes sense for what it is that you're trying to achieve. You can also use topic-to-topic links to connect together related information across maps, and topic links are much cleaner than relationships. You could use relationship arrows to connect topics together to say, actually topic B is related to topic D in some way. And if you did the same thing with topic-to-topic links in the topics, then that it means the map isn't so busy with extra lines and extra information. So if you find yourself using a lot of relationships, lots of connections inside your maps, then consider using topic-to-topic hyperlinks instead, adding a link from topic B to topic D so that when you're on there you can just click on that topic and jump to another one instead of following a link, because that's a much cleaner picture, especially for more complicated maps. So that's a slightly different use of links inside maps. Let's have a look at working with them. We're going to look at where you can use them, where you can use links, different types, lots of different ways of creating links. We've got many different ways to generate information and generate links inside your maps, and then a number of different ways to access those and manage them. And we mentioned earlier the difference between absolute and hyperlink and relative links when it comes to exporting. We'll look at what happens when you export maps containing links. So links can be used in lots of places in MindManager. the main place that you'll probably use them is in topics. So a topic can have no links, just one link, or multiple links. And you'll see that this topic with a single link links to an Excel spreadsheet. And when you click on that, it'll open the spreadsheet. That's pretty straightforward. If you've got multiple links, you have to click on a menu to be able to see what the links are, because they might not all be the same type. They might be different URLs. You have a collection of lots of different things there. That means that multiple links are, you need to have a second click to go into the menu for managing that. We'll have a look at those in a moment. You can put topic links in notes as well. So if you see the notes window pop up there, I've created a link in topic notes. And they can be very useful for lots of detailed information, especially if you're going to export to other formats. If you're going to export to a web page or a document, it's very helpful to have to embed topic links, embed links in topic text. You can put a link on an image in notes as well. So if you want a picture, if you're creating a manual and you want to link to something else from a diagram, you can select that image and attach a hyperlink, attach a link to that image in the topic notes. I'll just mention topic properties briefly, because a file and folder link is a property type. You can create topic properties which are links, and there's a little file picker that will help you to choose that link. But be aware that those links are they're really almost for data processing. There'd be something else that would use that link in some other way, maybe another piece of software or special extension. And those links are a little bit outside the normal user interface and the normal checking of these. There's no feature for launching a link that's in topic properties, for example. So I'll mention that's a sort of fairly advanced use of links, but topic hyperlinks are a data type in the topic properties. You can't put links in the topic text itself, so you can't select a topic, double-click on one of the words and create a hyperlink for that. So the topic text itself isn't able to have hyperlinks, and you can't add links to either images or icons in MindManager topics. So it's the topic that possesses the link, not some of the elements inside that. And you can't have links on relationships or boundaries or background shapes. So it's really topic links that we're focusing on here. Be aware that MindManager also generates and helps you to manage other shortcuts and links. So you can have links to documents that are part of the application. So for example, your My Maps feature, if you switch that feature on in the options, you can create and have generated for you links to MindManager maps. So you don't have to have everything in the map. You can set up links to frequently used maps or resources in the My Maps task pane too. So that's where links can be used. Let's have a look at the different types of links now. A file link is the easiest. You can link to a non-map document like Excel. So if I click on that, it's going to open a preview of this spreadsheet in the browser window. We'll have a look at that operation later. You can have links between map documents. You can also link to a specific topic in another map. You don't necessarily have to just link to the whole document. You can actually link to a destination topic, so you can jump from the middle of one knowledge map into the middle of another one in context. You can make very, very precise and targeted links. And note that when you start working with links to MindManager maps, lots of other features start popping up in the UI. You see extra things coming up in the context menus, and there are extra features, because we'll talk about multi-maps in a bit later on. You can also have a link to a file and show it in File Explorer. So if we've got a link to this Excel spreadsheet here, if I right-click on that and do Show in Explorer, drag this in, what happens is that Windows File Explorer opens and it finds that document in its folder, highlights it, and you can see where that is on your system. So even though you might have forgotten exactly which folder that was in, MindManager can help you to pinpoint that address again. So you can use file links that way. You can link to whole folders too. Similarly, they can be shown in Explorer. So instead of linking to a particular file, it just takes you to the root of the folder, takes you to the folder that holds those files. So you can link to a whole folder as well as to files. That's just as easy to do. We talked a little bit about relative versus absolute links. A relative link, that's a little link to an image. If I do Control K, oops, and drag this in, you can see that the path to this file begins with dots, and that means it starts from where the current map is. So that's a relative link. If I do Control K to edit an absolute link, you can see the path to the same file goes right the way back to the start of the drive. If we go back to the beginning of this, goes back to the disk drive, and goes down through all the folders until it reaches that file. And you can choose whether to use relative or absolute links for those. If you move your map somewhere else on a system, an absolute link will still work. If you move your map somewhere else, for a relative link to still work, you have to move the copy of the file as well. So whatever's linked to it has to move with the map. So if everything's in the same folder or in a subfolder, you have to move all of those together. Whereas if you use absolute links, you can move your map anywhere else. But if you copy it to another system, that link might not work. I think in most cases you're better off using relative links, and that's the default. And if you send your map with a lot of link files to somebody else in the same folder structure, then they're going to work just as well for them too. So it's not common that you need to move maps around a lot, but it can be very helpful to be able to send a map and all its link files to somebody else. So the default is normally absolute. You can set that default in the File tab in Info and Properties, and then if we drill all the way down into the Summary tab, there's an option that shows you where that is. So if we do that, File, Info, Properties, Summary tab, there's a choice there for whether you by default store link paths as relative or absolute links. So just bear in mind that that's where that's defined, and that's how you can control that. So that was a little bit about relative and absolute links. A web address is another type of link. Again, if we click on that, this link here is a link to google.com, and it opens in the built-in browser here. Or we can have a link to a topic in this map. So this little link here has been created by navigating to another topic. When you click on it, you saw this selection jump from where you were to the new topic. So when we create that, we get to choose which topic is created there. The last one is an email link, and you can add email addresses as links when you click on an email link. Let's see if I can actually show you this. What I have set up is I use Gmail, and when I've clicked on an email link, I've got that email link as an address, as my own address. It creates an email to me, and you can in fact configure that link with a subject if you want to do that. But it's really handy to have people's email addresses as links in your map. You click on the link and you'll open up your default email system and start and create an email to them. So that's very convenient for keeping track of email addresses outside of your email system. So let's have a look at some of the techniques you can use for creating links. Now there's quite a lot here, and we probably don't need to go into a lot of detail. You can add links manually. You can create them by dragging and dropping things around. You can drag files in from Explorer, and we'll see that in a second. You can create links directly from web browsers. That's really helpful when you're surfing, collecting information, say for research. And you can work with multi-map sets, and we'll come back to the importance of map links there. Then there are some automated ways of creating links. There's the File and Folder Explorer, and there's SharePoint, and there's some other ones as well. So there's quite a lot of ways that you can generate links. The simplest way is with your topic selected, you just press Control-K. So that's a shortcut key. So Control-K will bring up the dialog for adding a link to that topic if there's no link on that topic there to start with. Similarly, in the topic context menu, you can right-click on the topic context menu, and down near the bottom there's an add link command. So if you prefer keyboard shortcuts or you prefer just to use the mouse, those are the two basic ways to add links. There is also something that not so many people use, is in the Insert tab in the ribbon, that there's a link command, and there's a number of options under the link command, including a very helpful one called Check File and Folder Links. So if you've ever wondered how you keep control of links that get broken, that's where you would go to, and we'll look at that in a second. If you're creating links in topic notes, you can highlight text, and then let me make this a little bit bigger here. Once you've got some text highlighted, you've got a button in the toolbar there, or you can press Control-K, or you can right-click on the text as well and do Add Link. So as you might expect with Windows applications, there's at least 3 ways to do everything, and probably more when you actually look at it. So those are some of the ways to create links, and we looked just briefly now at the Add Link dialog. Let's have a closer look at that. So if I do Control-K and start the link dialog again, the first thing you see is a selector for the different types of link that you can have. And there's 3 basic types. There's a file path or a URL. So that format handles web addresses, it handles links to folders, it handles links to files. Or you can choose to jump to a topic in this map, or you can type an email address, and each of those has a different configuration. For file or link paths, you can just type a web address, or you can paste in a web address. Or if you want to link to a particular file, you can select a file with File Explorer. So we can navigate around your system and choose a file. And similarly, if you want to link to a folder, it opens a slightly different browser where you can browse the folders on your system, and you can select a folder. Now in each case you can type in the link title, and the link title will appear in the hover, when you hover over a link, when you've only got one link in the topic, or if you have multiple links in a topic, it'll list them by those titles, or if you export it, it'll use that title when on the export. And we'll see, I'll show you the export to HTML5 in a bit, and you can see the link titles appearing as pop-ups there. So that's the URL and file path. If you choose topic in this map, you can you can then browse through the structure of your map, shown as a tree, and it's a clockwise tree, and you can drill through this and pick a topic that you can connect to. So you can create a link to a specific topic in the map. Now, just to mention that if I connect to a MindManager map, see if I can find a MindManager map. If I open a MindManager map, I mentioned earlier on, when you're linking to MindManager maps, you get extra features in the UI. If it realizes you've selected a MindManager map as a destination, you then get the opportunity to select a topic in that map as well. So you can drill right into a specific topic in a remote map, not just limited to local ones. And that option only appears if you've chosen a map as the format. Then the last format was email address, and if you put in an email address and choose email address as a type, you get to choose not only the title of the link, so you can put the person's name in there if you want to. You could even type a subject. And when you exercise that link to your email client to write an email, it'll fill in the subject for you as well. So those are the choices for creating links. Now, if you've already got a link on a topic, Control K or edit link will edit the current one. If you want to add more where you've already got a hyperlink, you haven't got an add link option at the topic context level. You have to right click on the icon for the link to find an add link option. So be aware that once you've added a link to a topic, the menus change a little bit, they move around. So what was in the topic context menu is being moved into the context menu for the link icon there, and you can add another link to an existing one there. So those are the basic manual editing. You can also move links around. So I can take the link on this topic. If I click and hold on that, I can drag it onto another one until the topic turns green. And you can very, very quickly make a copy of a hyperlink if you realize your link actually belongs somewhere else. You can quickly click and drag it to another topic. There's also in the topic context menu a command called copy as link. There's a very subtle difference here. What you're doing when you use this one is you're putting on the clipboard the address of that topic in the map, and you could then go to another topic and paste that address as a link and create a topic-to-topic link that way. So there's a copy as link, but be aware that only MindManager knows how to open links to topics. No other software is going to be able to follow that. But that's another way to create a topic-to-topic link. Instead of browsing through the map, you can go to where you want the destination, do a right-click, copy as link, and then go back to the one where you want to add a link and paste it in as a link. And similarly, there are copy and paste functions on the link icon context menu. If you've got more than one link, you can copy and paste those as well. So copy and paste and dragging stuff around is pretty handy. Dragging from File Explorer is a really convenient way. If I bring up the File Explorer window again, if you've got space to open both an Explorer window and your MindManager map, then I can go into a folder here, and you can just literally drag a file from the Explorer into MindManager. And if you drag it and position it so you've got a red shadow, that tells you that's going to create a new topic. When you release the mouse button, you can choose to add it as a link or an attachment. So if you add it as a topic link, you create a link to that topic. You can also drag and drop it on the topic itself where you've got a green highlight, and that'll add a link to an existing topic. Creating links from web browsers, we've got a couple of options here. In the built-in browser, we've got add to map button, so you can, if I open the browser again, do a quick search, we've got a button here, add to map, and if you click on that button, whatever it is, whatever page you're browsing in the built-in browser will get added to the current selection. So I should select a topic in the map and then click add to map, and it creates a topic in MindManager with that hyperlink in it. So that is a really fast way to research, to gather links and put them in a map as you fly past. And it's really easy to get lost on the internet and you can't remember exactly what it was. You saw something useful half an hour ago, but you can't remember where it was. If you do this through MindManager, that task is made really simple. You can collect a lot of useful information and then reorganize it afterwards. There's also in external browsers, in Chrome or any of the other browsers, you can double click on the address bar in a browser and drag that into the map. So if you've got an address showing in the browser bar, you double click that, click and drag it, drop it in the map. It'll do the same things that we saw when we're dragging and dropping files. Internet Explorer, if you're using Internet Explorer, which the built-in MindManager, built-in browser, is based on, when you right-click on a link, there are options to send that link into the MindManager map or send the whole page into MindManager. So there's a couple of other options in context menus there, and you'll see these context menus built into Internet Explorer. At the moment there aren't any other extensions for other other browsers, but if you're using Internet Explorer, that feature will be installed with MindManager. So that's using external browsers. Now, we mentioned multi-map sets earlier on. They're a really important part of using MindManager, and a set of multi-maps, you can do operations on a whole group of maps together. Like you can export them all together, or you can zip them up into a folder to send to somebody, or you can merge them all together. And multi-maps are defined by links between maps. So being able to create links between MindManager maps is a key to multi-map sets. And when you have links to let's see if I can find it. Here we are, example with the link. When you have a link to another MindManager map, some more stuff gets added to the context menu. So here we are. You can import the contents of a linked map into the topic itself. You can bring that topic back into the into MindManager, or if you right-click on a task that doesn't have, here we are. If you're working on a tree within a map, you can chop it off effectively and create a new linked map out of that. So if you have a large map, you can use this send topics to new linked map as a way to carve it up, and it'll automatically create the hyperlinks between those maps. So if you create a new linked map, it'll create a new map, create a hyperlink from where you are now to the new map, and you've then effectively created a multi-map set. Then so you divide a large map into a number of linked maps. Now in the View tab, you can see linked maps. So if we go to the View tab, I've got a lot of linked maps in this example. You can see where this is the one on the top left where we actually are now, and you can see the number of MindManager maps that this links to. So it links to lots of other maps. And we've got certain operations that we could do with this set of linked maps. So when you go to the View tab and to Linked Maps, it shows you thumbnails of all the maps that are first generation linked from the one that you're working on. I'll close that view. So that's a quick summary of multi-map sets. The File and Folder Explorer it's two things. It's either a smart map part that you can bring in from the map parts task pane. If you open the map parts and go to Mindjet and then File Explorer, you've got some map parts there, and when you drag them into the map, they prompt you for a folder to link to, and it'll then explore and find all the folders and files underneath that, and effectively it creates a navigation for you. Now, a really good way to use this is to maybe explore a big folder full of files to start with, get MindManager to generate all the links for you automatically. So it gives you a complete catalogue of everything you've got, and you can then restructure that. You can then reorganize that in a way that makes sense for your project. The other way to do this is to launch this from the Advanced tab. If you've got the add-in enabled, you have to enable the add-in in the settings under File and Settings. You have again, you have a feature here, files and folders, and this does the same job, but without using a map part, but it generates the same catalog of files. So you can select a topic, go to File Explorer, and if you do files and folders, it'll prompt you for a starting point, and then it'll drill down to give you a complete catalog of everything that's stored under there. So the File and Folder Explorer, either as a map part or as a command from the Advanced tab, are a quick way to generate indexes of files that you've got. SharePoint is another way. If you connect to a SharePoint site with MindManager, you have map parts that can head off to SharePoint, connect to the site for you, and generate directories. So if I drag this query SharePoint lists and drop it in the map, it asks me to choose my SharePoint site from ones that I've already set up, or you can set up a new site here. If I ask it to find the documents in this site, just confirm which of the document libraries I want it to find, and click Finish, and it connects to SharePoint. It drills into that document library, it generates a set of hyperlinks to those documents for me, and I can now open those documents from here, or I can restructure those, or I can annotate them some more to explain the relevance of them to a project. So again, that's a really powerful way to automatically find stuff, create directories and create folder structures. We mentioned topic-to-topic links earlier on. Just to be aware that if you delete a topic that was previously a link to, that won't be detected automatically, but you'll get an error message saying the topic doesn't exist anymore when you try and follow that. And if you copy groups of topics with topic links from one map to another, they won't work either, because the topic-to-topic link uses an internal ID, and that changes when you copy a topic from one map to another. So just be aware that every now and then you might end up with something that doesn't appear to work. Now, if and when you get a copy of this map after the webinar, I've put in here a little cross-linker macro, which is something that I and a few other people use quite a lot. What it lets you do is, if you select two topics, select one, then control-click to select another one, click on a topic, cross-link the topics, it automatically generates a pair of links between those two. That's really handy when you're joining stuff together within a map. It just saves you doing that by hand, by going to each one, finding the other, or by doing copy as link and copying and pasting. That's all it's really doing. So if you get a copy of this, you'll find that macro as an attachment in here. Now, just a word about using multiple links on topics. We saw how MindManager can have lots of links, as many as you wish really, on a single topic, but it's probably best to work with one link per topic when creating these maps, because it makes it clearer for indexing. You can annotate and describe the links individually, you can catalog them. You may find you need to use multiple links and topics, but if you have the choice, then you're probably better keeping to one link per topic. Conscious of the time here, let's talk a bit about finding and following links. If you've ever used the map index, you might have seen this other tab in the map index called Elements. And in Elements, it catalogs for you, it indexes for you all topics with hyperlinks in them, which is really handy. So if you know you've got a link in a map somewhere, you can't be entirely sure where it was, but you know it's a really useful link, you go to the map index and then to Elements, and you'll find that really fast. So it'll you just click on that and it'll take you to the topic with the link in it. We mentioned earlier on the multiple links icon. If you want to follow a link which is just one link on a topic, you can click straight on that hyperlink icon and it'll open that. If you've got multiple links, you have to click on the icon and choose to open the link or open it outside MindManager. Now this opening inside and outside MindManager thing refers to the built-in browser. The browser we saw earlier on, and that can open lots of different types of maps. It's based on Internet Explorer. It's enabled in the add-ins in the File tab, and you can really use that to preview lots of different content formats, including folders. So you can preview a folder in there as well. And if you then want to, if you've got a link, you know that's the right document, it's the right page, you want to see it in your browser, all you need to do is click that Open Outside MindManager button in the browser, in the built-in browser, and it takes you to that site in your own. If I drag this up, I just clicked on that and it takes you to that that page in your normal default browser on Windows. So the built-in browser, it's really handy to have it on the same page as MindManager in the same screen, but sometimes you might be struggling a bit with the space you need to work with, especially if it's a complex website. You can very easily click on that Open Outside MindManager button and take that outside of the built-in browser. We mentioned email links earlier on. I've put in here how to configure Windows to use the default app. So by default, Windows will go for the Windows Mail feature, but you can change that to Outlook, or you can also change it to use webmail as well. So if you use Gmail, for example, you can configure Windows to make Gmail your default email client, so that the email links work just as well as they would if they opened Outlook as well. So that there's a bit of information there about how to do that. In terms of managing links, I'm not going to go over the single and the multiple link icons again. If you want to edit a link, all you need to do is press Control-K, and that will reopen the link editor dialog as you had it configured for that particular link. You then make a modification to that link. So you can either just press Control-K, or if you've got a topic with multiple links on it, you hover over it and you can choose Edit Link there. So you can easily go back and edit a link that you already created. Removing links, just note that if you delete a link, it doesn't delete the file, which is good news. You can remove links either from the right-clicking on the link icon itself. You've got a remove link function there, or if you've got multiple links, you hover over the one you want and you've got a remove link function there. So bear in mind there's a difference between whether you've got one or more than one link on a topic, but those are the options for deleting links. There's also a Manage Links dialog, which we saw fly past. And from the Manage Links dialog, you can do all of the above. You can edit a link, and you can also select one in a list and move them around. So you can order them so that they appear in the order that you want to, if you really want to control that. But it's got the other features in there, like remove and being able to edit that. So the Manage Links dialog appears in both the topic context menu and the links context menu. We talked a bit about exporting maps containing links. Just be aware that if you do an export and you've got links to documents, then other people may not be able to see those documents. There are, under the web export in particular, which we won't look at today, there are lots of options for managing that. Let's have a quick look at attachments, and you'll be pleased to know that attachments are a lot simpler than links. Attachments embed information in your map, and they go wherever the map goes. So if you send the map to somebody, they'll get all the documents that are attached within it as well. A really useful way to use those is to keep a version history of an important document, so you can have multiple topics at version 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can keep for reference purposes previous versions of a document without trying to have lots of different versions on disk. You can store those in a map. They also allow you to apply password protection to things that otherwise you might not be able to password protect. So if you put an attachment inside a password protected map, that gives it some protection. And a really important feature of attachments is if you publish to HTML5, an attached map embedded in the one that you publish is dead easy to browse. Somebody can just click on that and follow it through. Attachments can only be in topics. You can't put attachments anywhere other than topics. To create attachments with a topic selected, you've got a number of options. You've got a keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-H. You've got an option from the Insert tab that we looked at, and again there's an Attach Files command in the Insert tab, and you can attach a file or manage files. There's the Topic Context menu. You right-click on a topic and click on Attach Files. And if you've already got attachments on there, if you've got a topic with an attachment, you right-click on that topic and you can go to Manage Attached Files and add more attachments. The Attach Files dialog lets you do two things. One is you can attach something that exists already, or the other choice is to create an empty document. So you know you're going to need a Word document there, but you haven't created it yet. The Attach Files dialog will let you do that. It'll create a new empty dialog, and it supports a number of different Microsoft Office formats. You can also drag attachment icons from one topic to another. So you can click on an attachment icon in a map, drag it to another topic, and effectively copy that attachment from one topic to another. And lastly, as we saw earlier, you can drag from from Windows Explorer. So File Explorer. Again, if I want to add a file that exists to a map as an attachment, selected in File Explorer. Let me find the right place to drag it here. If I drag it and drop it as a new topic there, I have the choice of adding it as a topic attachment instead of as a link. And what that'll do is it create a topic, put a copy of that file in there. Now bear in mind that now we've created an attachment from an existing file. That is not the same as the existing file. If you edit the attachment, you won't edit the original one, so that they fork, they go in two different directions. So remember that attachments are always copies of information, and it doesn't update all the different copies. In terms of opening attachments, again we've got the Insert tab, or if you have a topic with a single attachment, you can just click on that attachment, and by default it will open in the built-in browser. Now if you wanted to open it in Excel rather than in the built-in browser, you right-click on it and choose Open Outside MindManager, and that'll open it in its native application, whatever that might be. It might be Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever tool responds to that file type in Windows. Again, if you've got multiple attachments, you have to choose from the list of attachments. But like the links, you're probably better off having one attachment per topic, because that makes it easier to see what you've got. Now, when you're opening attachments, you may get a security warning. MindManager may warn you, are you sure you want to open this? And you have a choice of accepting that, and also of saying, don't ask me again. But it just makes you double check first time you use it to make sure that you did intend to launch something, because you might be launching a program, you might be starting something off quite big. The built-in browser, we saw how the built-in browser can preview attachments in just the same way as it does with links. So if I open this spreadsheet in the built-in browser again, I can click that Open Outside MindManager, and that'll open it in Excel in its native application. So you can preview your attachment. You can't edit it in the browser, but you can preview it and then jump straight out to do that. Now, for managing attachments, again, you can modify the attachment that you've already got. You can manage those. If you right-click on a topic that's got an attachment and go to Manage Attached Files, you have the choice of opening the selected one, importantly, you can do a save as, so you can put attachments into MindManager, you can get them back out again if you want to make a copy back out on disk again, or you can rename them, add new ones, or remove them. So very similar to the managing of links there. And similarly, to remove an attachment, right-click on the icon in the topic, and you can remove all attached files. Or if you just want to remove one, you can go to the Manage Attached Files dialog, select that one, and click Remove if you want to remove a single attachment there. We mentioned using multiple attachments. Again, using one per topic is best. Now lastly, exporting maps containing attachments. Normally attachments aren't exported to the linear document formats, but if you export a map to HTML5 and you attach embedded MindManager maps, then if you attach files anyway, the users can click on that attachment icon to download it from the exported version, and you can also browse through linked maps. Let me show this map here. I exported this one earlier. So this is an export to HTML5 of the map that we've been working on. And down here we've got an example of a topic that's got an attachment which is a MindManager map in it. When you click on that, it shows you in the attachments and links pane on the right that you've got that attachment. If I now click on that attachment, instead of offering to download that, it renders it in the browser. So you've got a brilliant way here of publishing multi-map sets. All you need to do is to make sure that you have your maps embedded as attachments, and when they get uploaded to the HTML5 server, to the Mindjet server, it knows how to deal with those, and so users can browse through collections of maps, related maps, in a very convenient way there. So we're just coming up to just 5.2. Just summarize here, you've probably seen that we've got a lot of ways of working with links and attachments, a lot of detailed ways. Basically, whatever you need to do, you're probably going to be able to do it by some means in MindManager. There are lots of different ways, so just choose the ones that work for you. But be aware of features that change a little bit when a topic has got more than one link or more than one attachment, and try to keep to one link and one attachment per topic, if that's sensible. The check files and folders in the Insert tab under the link command is really useful for making sure you haven't got broken links, and be conscious of how links and attachments are handled when you copy and publish. And do be conscious of attachments. If you send a map to somebody and you've forgotten that it had an attachment in it, you might be sending them more information than you meant to send them. So use the index, the elements, and have a look at attached files before sending a map to somebody else, just to make sure you're not attaching all your salary details in there and you didn't really mean them to see that. So that's well, it's a bigger subject than it looks, I suppose, with like all things with MindManager. When you start to get into it, there's so many features embedded, but I hope that's been helpful to give you an idea of some of the technical features of how to do that.
Nick, first of all, thanks a lot. Great overview. Basically, and I think what you said, in the first glance, it looks quite simple working with links and attachments, but there are quite a lot of options that you can learn, yes, which all make sense.
Yes, especially around the options for creating links. Lots and lots of different options.
But when you know them, it's quite simple.
Yes, that's right.
So, Nick, thanks a lot for again providing a great and exhaustive webinar. Basically, do you want to address some last words?
Well, just to thank everybody for their time today, for sticking it out for the whole hour, and do be inspired. Do go away and use MindManager to create fantastic resources and models of information, and particularly dashboards, so that everything is at your fingertips where you need it. And it's probably simpler than I've made it look this afternoon, but that's just because of the amount of choice that you have. So thank you for the opportunity to present. Thank you everybody who's attended.
Thank you, Nix. Also from my side, thank you very much taking your time, for everybody who attended, and hopefully you will join one of the next MindManager webinars. And from my side, I am now just wishing you a nice rest of the day. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Customer, you know it would be great. The quarter's coming to a close, so please don't hesitate. Place your order right away. There's no need